Hey guys, what is up? This is Nation 98 and welcome to the next video in the League of Pet Shoppers.
Hello, all you pet shoppers and video gamers. This is the Littlest Nintendo Shop here.
What's up, everybody? I'm ICanSnake.
Hello everyone, this is Weekend RS28.
And guys, I just want to mention, this is going to be our first interview on this channel. We are very honored to have her with us, so please introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Georgia Ball and I write for the Littlest Pet Shop comic book series.
Again guys, we are very honored to have Georgia with us today. I think we've all read some of the comics. I read the first one from one of my friends who sent the pictures of the pages for me.
Honestly, I haven't read any comics because there are no comic shops in my area.
Yeah, as for me, I actually read both of the comics and they're pretty fine. I mean, the first one actually was, I thought it was like, just some baby steps right here, but then the second one is like, okay, yeah, this is when we start getting a bit interesting, so yeah.
I actually totally agree with that.
Alright, so the first question we have listed is, how did you get into LPS?
So I had been working on the Strawberry Shortcake series and then I worked on a couple of comic book series based on video games for a company called Ape Entertainment. One of them was Fruit Ninja and the other one was Squids, and both of them never actually made it to shelves before the company started dissolving. The editor that I worked with went over to IDW, and Hasbro really loved, of course, how well the ponies are doing. You know, they had all these big plans. They hadn't told everybody yet about what they wanted to do with Littlest Pet Shop this year, like revamping the toy line. And part of that they wanted to do was comic books that it's really meant to reinforce the show. It's all about the show, the toy line getting revamped and
yeah, it's marketing.
yeah, all of these shorts that they're doing. I mean, it used to be that the show was there for the toys, but the show's gotten popular enough that it's really more like they want everything to support the show. So this comic book line was greenlit as something that they really wanted to do, and my editor David Hedgecock needed a writer, and he remembered how much he enjoyed, particularly the Strawberry series that I did with him. So he asked me to work on it, and I jumped on it. It's just I love to write, so I hadn't really spent a lot of time with the series before that because I don't have the hub. So even for working on Strawberry, I was having to go through some alternate means in order to see episodes. Fortunately, things have changed a little bit now, and I could get the entire season 1 on Amazon, and I just ran through all of that and found other ways to get to season 2. So that would be my way in, but I think if I'd had found it on my own, I still would have gotten hooked. I really enjoyed the show.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, since you watched the show, who do you think is your favorite pet?
Sunil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same me.
It is. He's really relaxed, and he's a really nice, gentlemanly character.
Yeah.
Especially around Delilah. Again, I ship Delilah to Neil.
Oh, that's cute.
Sunil's great, but my favorite is Zoe.
I love Zoe too. We named our dog after Zoe.
That's really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, how did you get into writing comics, and what is your creative process in writing them?
I started out as a webcomics writer. My husband and I had a strip called Scooter and Ferret, and it was kind of about a gay friend of mine.
Really?
But we made him into a ferret, and then he had this dog roommate, and then it was just, we spent about 6 years writing this strip, and it never got really popular, but it had a following of a sort, and we came somewhat close to we were at least being looked at and considered by a syndicate, and
Yeah.
we decided we didn't really want to retool it in the direction that they were suggesting, so we went back to writing it, and maybe about a year into writing it, I just got an email from Matt Anderson, who's writing the backup stories on Littlest Pet Shop, and he was the editor on Strawberry at the time. He was only the editor for the first couple books, and then he got replaced by Weldon Adams, but for that time he was, and he had read Scooter and Ferret. Like, even now, if you ask, like, David Hedgecock, he's never read any of the Scooter and Ferret strips, so he doesn't know where I came from. But Matt really liked them, and he thought that they were funny, and they were looking for a woman to write for Strawberry.
Yeah, so coming from the fact that I never really read as much comics as anyone else, well, whoever listening to this, except for certain ones. But my question here is, have you ever read any comics yourself before you got interested into writing comics? Or?
Yeah, I've always been a little bit more of an alternative comics person. I was a reader when I was a kid, you know, all ages stuff that was out there. I loved Harvey comics. got back into college. I was a computer art major in art school, but my roommate was a sequential art major at the Savannah College of Art and Design, and she got tons of comics. She just read all the time. So I read everything that she brought home and got back into the world of comics through things like Strangers in Paradise and Bone, and been reading those the whole time that I was doing webcomics. I read a lot of webcomics when I was writing them as well. I'm still a subscriber to Comics Now. I'm a big Comixology fan. I don't like bringing a whole lot of paper stuff into the house anymore. The house is just too full of books.
Okay, so for those of us who haven't read the Littlest Pet Shop comics, can you tell us a little bit about them?
So the point of the comic version is to do things that are a little bit different than the show. The show is like a 30-minute format, and the comic maybe has the opportunity to make a different kinds of references towards a different audience. I think that we've gotten the opportunity maybe to do some focus on some characters that maybe they wouldn't have been comfortable with spending that much time on the show. Sometimes I feel like with a show they feel an obligation, say, to give equal time to all of her friends and maybe give a lot more time to some of the adult characters. We've gotten more of a chance to really focus on the pets. I think some things like the Great Gatsby parody that we do at the end of number 3 and getting to show the Biscuit twins interacting with boys are things that the show has not really had the time or wanted to explore. So you're kind of getting to go down different avenues.
Yeah, I really liked The Great Gatsby when I read it in high school.
I did too, and I've always thought that there was a lot of things that are really funny about it too.
Yeah. So our sixth question is, what are your views on comics catered to girls having as much potential to be successful as comics catered to boys?
But if people follow me on Twitter, they know that I've been a really big advocate of comics being for girls. I was obviously writing for Strawberry when my Strawberry issues were coming out before the first issue of My Little Pony came out, and they sold out every time a store would have them because the girls that would come in and have no other options. But at the same time, retailers were not willing to take a chance on buying more. So on every run that we did, retailers would buy about 8 issues per store if they bought any at all, which would translate to about 6,500 copies every print run. And it was really weird to see that same number come along like every month consistently. They would always buy the same amount. And my boss would, talk to comic retailers and ask them, if you're selling out all the time, why won't you try and buy a few more next time? And they just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I saw on the internet when issue 1 came out from people that wouldn't normally buy My Little Pony. They wouldn't ever, they just kind of consider things that are for girls lesser, where they were just laughing and sniggering at the idea that this comic was even coming out. I think one of the things that really set me off on Twitter was I saw some of the guys that work for IDW on one of their properties had noticed an ad for it in one of their comic books, and we're teasing each other and saying like, "Oh, I bet you work on that." And it's like, "No, oh my God, no, I can't even believe this is out." And they say like, "Well, comics aren't really, it's just a medium. It's not really intended to just be things that are just for your taste." But I think as long as the retailer model is in place the way it is, we're probably going to see girls having a pretty hard time finding things that might be more like what they want to read. I was a big Barbie fan when I was little. I was a huge fan of Trina Robbins' Misty, which didn't even last very long. And nowadays, you just can't find very much like that. The only reason that there's anything like My Little Pony breaking barriers is because it had so many brony pre-orders before it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of girls reading it. Last time I was at Emerald City, a little girl came up. She had bought the entire collection of Strawberry Shortcake.
Wow.
She had every issue, and she wanted me to sign it, and it was great. And while I was promoting Strawberry, I was introducing new little girls at every con I went to the concept of buying this. So I'm all for it. And as far as the sales of a pet shop goes, the comic book stores are frequently not the best market if you're trying to reach girls, and they're looking at other avenues with things like hardbound book sales and bookstores for being able to get them into the hands of girls.
So with you told us about how you put Great Gatsby in the comics. Could you tell us about any other references you put in the comics that have already been released?
Yeah. Well, not so. As far as already been released goes, everybody heard about the Linkara cameo that was into.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
I did that one just because
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm actually a fan of that guy with the glasses. I'm familiar with Nostalgia Critic and Carl's like cameos anywhere, so I was the first one that sort of spotted him, and then suddenly the rest just sort of like started noticing that, and then Doug Walker, who played the Nostalgia Critic, actually posted it like on his Facebook, saying that well he's not familiar with LPS, even though he says his opinions like from his other show, but yeah, he just states that he's cameo in LPS like for that matter. So and it got a big full of comments on that, so one trigger there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Was great. That was really neat
Yeah.
seeing that many people talking about it. There was still a few people in the comments jumping in and saying like, oh, "I can't believe this is a comic," which is a really frustrating attitude. His number 2 is actually pretty geeky. So there's a lot of references to Magic the Gathering that are into some jabs at Pokemon, like when Penny turns into a Penny Puff. Pepper dresses up as Raven. She's wearing Raven's cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teen Titans.
In later issues, like number 4 is going to have a big Michael Bay cameo.
Really?
And it's not like it says Michael Bay, but I told the artist this is what he looks like and sent him a picture, and what came back was quite good. So it's a good caricature. And the stuff that he's doing is pretty clear that that's who he is.
What is he gonna every single step an explosion?
Yeah, they're working on a show, and he talks about how he's going to transform your nostalgic childhood memories into something with just like that, but with more explosions.
That sort of was like the latest Transformers film. Like, I don't know.
And then there's a scene where Zoe is imagining herself as Black Widow.
There was actually like there's an artwork that I sort of spotted, I guess, like from her like blog, I guess. Yeah.
That's my husband is an artist, and to help promote the comic, he's been doing a little fan art for me.
Yeah.
And Black Widow's always one of the ones that we put out. A lot of people like that a lot. That and the Russell Captain America.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
I was getting a lot of comments about about the Russell being Captain America. They were saying they would have pictured him more with Flash because they think of him like Sonic the Hedgehog. 'Cause he's a hedgehog and he's supposed to be fast and everything.
Oh no, yeah, no, yeah, like Russell's definitely not fast. It's kind of the opposite of fast.
Only spin dash is like this.
Well, in the second episode, he did perform the spin dash. That's very similar to what Sonic does.
Oh yeah, gosh, things have changed a lot from season 1.
It has.
Yeah.
And I'm really liking this new season.
Yeah.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
And the final question we have is: are there any plans for the comics in the future?
We're still waiting for the final decision on that. Hasbro came out with a press release that got picked up in a bunch of places, including the Wall Street Journal, where they were talking about that they do have plans to expand the comics. If we do, it's probably not going to be based on comic book retail sales, although it would be certainly nice if those would pick up. It's always like a declaration of support if those go up, but I think that number of pre-orders would probably have to go up before that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily preclude the idea that they would make more, because there's a lot of other markets.
Yeah.
And the thing,
especially online retailers like iBooks or Comixology. Well,
Yeah.
for like digital price, yeah.
Like Amazon is one of the things that they're looking at in Barnes & Noble. Just maybe see how the trades would do there. You do pick up an entirely different audience.
Mm-hmm.
I live near Barnes Noble. I might actually go check it out, possibly.
Yeah, there's one over near where I live, near Willow Grove.
The trade's going to be coming out in November. It's already available for pre-order on Amazon, and I think Barnes & Noble's site as well.
The thing I wanted to mention real quick, for Georgia, I wanted to mention that since me, Winged R's 28, and ICanSnake, since we all have Facebook and Twitter, and possibly we all have a Tumblr, I can't remember, but we can...
I have a Tumblr, yeah.
Yeah, we can all try and help get the word out that the comics will, let people know that the comics are out there, they should check these out, and try and help it get more publicity, let people know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew when 1 was coming out that 1 was not a very strong issue. It just didn't have time for a lot of references was a big one, and There were some major changes to the script that I think didn't work as well. Like, I wanted the whole story to be about Russell getting obsessed with the power that he had over the other characters, but Hasbro came back with notes and said that no, it's Penny that's the eater. Number 2 was much more of my original vision. It had a lot of really fun references in it. Number 3 doesn't have as many references, but I think that we start going into the area of character development with 3, 4, and 5, where they focus a little bit more on single pets. Number 3 is all about both Blythe and Sunil in a parallel way having to deal with difficult people and in order to accomplish a goal. And number 4 is about Zoe learning a lesson. Number 5 is about Russell learning a lesson. So you get a little bit more focus. And then number 5 is just crazy. If nobody buys anything else but number 5, I would be fine because it's very different from the others. And it's kind of a funny thing because it was meant to be an Animal Crossing parody.
Really?
Oh, I love Animal
Yeah.
Crossing.
But when I submitted the script, like Hasbro apparently doesn't play Animal Crossing or doesn't know what happens in it. And they just said, this has the characters, they just do chores. And what kind of game is this? This is terrible. This is like Farmville.
It's real life, but better.
And all right, so it turned it around and it became more of a regular video game where they're shooting at things and it's just wild mass hysteria, but it's still in an Animal Crossing setting.
Oh,
That sounds really fun.
Right, tweet.
Yeah, so it's just nuts. And then my artist sent me this panel back. I've seen the roughs for 5, and it just shows like the baddies in the game just coming down. It was raining on the Animal Crossing villagers. And like you could just about hear the screams. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the reception for 5. I hope people stick it out.
Mhm.
And LNS, that could be your first game.
Oh no. Yes, Georgia, I am majoring in game development.
That's right. I heard that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, if I'm ever going to create a game, I want it to be original as can be. I want it to be non-linear, because people are starting to get sick of linearity in gaming. I don't want to make a shooter.
So, Georgia, would you mind actually, since I'm like a Glasses fan, would you mind making a shout out to Linkara, like the actor who played him? So, I thought I would bring some stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Lewis, for 4 or 5 years of keeping my day job something that I can put up with.
Yeah.
So as we're recording this, it's the 4th of July. Do you have any plans for today or over the weekend?
I'm going to be spending the weekend at Everfree. For some reason, every year it always happens on the July 4th weekend. So it's going to be one big My Little Pony convention. I'm excited because I get to see some friends. Dana Simpson, Heather Newfer are going to be there. Dana, who does Heavenly Nostrils, and Heather, who's been the other writer on My Little Pony. And today on the 4th, probably going to go down south near where the hotel is and see some fireworks south of Seattle.
That sounds really fun. Really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I hope you have a
it's gonna
great
be.
time at the convention.
I hope it's going to be great. I've never been to a My Little Pony convention before.
Really?
It's my first one.
Well, then good luck.
Yes, luck.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any other plans for 4th of July?
I
None
don't.
of that.
Yeah. Well,
Basically, after this, I gotta make a 4th of July cover for America the Beautiful and God Bless America, then post it up on my channel because they keep asking me to do requests and stuff, and that was one of the things that they requested me to do for it. I was gonna save that to 9/11, but I figured I might as well just use it today. And after that, I'm going to my aunt and uncle's house.
Mhm.
As long as Tropical Storm Arthur does not hit us.
It won't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Any other announcements? Oh, wait, speaking of which, guys, we were talking about how if you saw our last video about the update, we will have more reviews. We're still planning the dates for the other people, but we're going to have Kelly Metzger, who does Sugar Sprinkles at one point. We're still planning when we're going to have her on, and we're also going to have Michael Kupsa, who is the voice of Roger Baxter.
Yep.
And also, guys, if you're wondering, FJV he freaked out when he heard about that. But yeah, we're still planning the date for those two. And lastly, I hope you guys have a good 4th of July. Again, just don't set anything on fire. Don't set yourselves on fire.
Yep.
It's not fun.
Thanks for joining us for this interview, Georgia.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
It was great.
Yeah, it was very nice meeting you again since our last meeting at Emerald City Comic Con. Yeah.
We'll probably meet again. I have more cons to do in the future. I'll be at Emerald City next year.
Yeah. I'll probably be back for that next year. So.
And so for the viewers out here who are out there watching this interview, you can follow Georgia on Twitter and Facebook, I think. And we'll
And Tumblr too.
yes, and we
search
will.
up at.
And for those of you that are in a Facebook page called The Pet Shop with me, ICanSnake, and Winged Artist 28, we will keep you posted on everything with the channel. We'll keep you posted about the comics and what's to come. So, all right, guys. So we can go into the outro.
Alrighty.
All right.
All right, later.
It was great to be here again to do
It was
this
great to
interview.
be here again. Thanks for being here again, Georgia.
Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you again.
Anytime.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
All right,
See you
bye.
later.
Bye.
All right, guys.
See you
From
later.
me, Georgia Ball, Winged Artist 28, ICanSnake, and LittlestNintendoShop. This is Neil Nation 98.